Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Black Mirror Season 4, Episode 4. It's called Hang the DJ. So, full spoilers for the episode. Obviously, we weren't as keen in the last one, so, we come out this one a bit hopeful. Hopefully this one's up to par,
Better.
I guess. Yeah, better. Yeah, that's another way of saying it.
Not that the last one was bad, but just expectations are higher.
Yeah, it was a weaker episode of Black Mirror. And I think it's funny because I naturally compared the last one to Shut Up and Dance quite a bit, and I feel like this one does kind of feel like it's filling the San Junipero slot of the season.
It does. I think structurally the season's very similar. We opened with one that's not nice, but it's somewhat optimistic at points, but it's still kind of okay. Here's the danger. 3 was the one which was supposed to be the gut punch.
Hell, even the second one was the second one's main theme was about parents, which was kind of the main theme of the second episode last season as well. Think of what playtest was about.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And then obviously 3 was supposed to be the gut punch, which obviously was a lot more effective last year.
Yeah, and then this one is the more upbeat ending relationship. Hope.
Yeah, the relationship episode.
Yeah. But hopeful, I think, because I was worried throughout this that it was going to have a dark end, and I was like, oh, please don't have this as a dark end, and just give me a happy one with this.
the cynic in me still sees this as not as nice and hopeful as San Junipero.
Sure. I think arguably you could say this one's more hopeful. I think you could put a dark...
No, you can.
Yeah, you could put a dark spin in San Junipero if you want to.
Yeah.
But either way, I'll choose both are hopeful, quite frankly. I'm happy being cheery about at least one of the episodes per season. That'd be nice. So,
true.
And when I say it was reminding me of San Junipero, I think the first thing that was reminding me of it is they start talking about this countdown, and I'm like, this was reminding me a lot of San Junipero where they had that time. It's like,
specific time, yeah.
It was like midnight. This is going to end, and I'm like, what does that mean? And I remember thinking that in San Junipero until it happened, and we sort of started to understand what was actually going on. This one didn't reveal what was going on until the very end. This was at the very end. It showed us finally this is what it is.
Yeah, it hints at it enough that you kind of get in there before it gets to the ending, but then it kind of
does a
bit extra, goes above and beyond with the end.
When it hints at what it is, I feel like I was expecting something a little bit different because he was so almost accurate. That I was surprised when it just ended up being exactly that.
They actually told us exactly what it was, halfway through, but they didn't realise that they were telling us, the characters. Obviously.
Yeah, it was presented as here's a theory that's probably wrong. And I was expecting a mix of their theories or something at the end, or something else we didn't see coming, and I'm not complaining, actually. I think ultimately it doesn't matter that much. It's just, because it was San Junipero as well. The reveal of what was going on wasn't really the heart of the episode. The heart of the episode was the emotional backdrop to it. And I think the same is true here. I think it's the emotions that make it work. So it's not a big deal that the twist isn't the most insane, oh my god, mind-blowing thing ever.
Yeah. No, these episodes are the potential benefits of some technology rather than the dangers.
Yeah. Which, now that we have 6 episodes a season, it's nice for them to explore that once in a while.
Yeah, exactly.
So, hell, even arguably USS Callister was kind of... I mean, obviously there was a lot of bad things going on, but the ending was like, oh, now they've got this infinite world they can explore. There was a little bit of positivity.
Benefits there.
Yeah. Maybe it's more balanced. There's good and bad with each one.
Yeah.
So what's the episode about? It's about these 2 characters, Amy and Frank, and they're meeting on a blind date. And we see it's kind of the future or whatever, because they've got these little kind of...
circular phone things.
Yeah, I'm tempted to call it a portable Alexa.
Yeah.
Because they talk to it, they call it Coach. That's what it's called. And they're like, hey, Coach, am I going to the right place? And it's like, yeah, you go to the right place. And he sits down, and then she comes in, and they're both pretty people. They sit down, and it's kind of awkward. Like, oh, is this your first time? I said, oh, this is your first time. And what quickly becomes apparent through this sort of dinner scene, and kind of just a little bit after it, you kind of get what the rules of this world are. Is that in this world, people don't just date in free will. It's all arranged, where people are matched with various people, and they're even given durations of how long the relationship will last. In this case, it's 12 hours when they first meet. So they'll get one night together, and then when they wake up, that's them, they have to go. And they're both kind of awkward, they're sort of tiptoeing around. But they've got chemistry, they're cracking jokes at each other, they're making fun of each other. So some of the jokes are arguably a little bit crude, and it's kind of things where, you know, sometimes the other person might not respond to that. Like, I feel like more often than not, I'll make a joke that someone who doesn't know me that well will be like, that's awkward, you're being weird, why are you being weird?
Yeah,
but no,
yeah.
she responds to the joke, she gets into the sense of humour.
This one, talking about shit while you're having dinner.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. That's exactly the sort of thing I'll do without caring, because I don't care. It doesn't affect me at all.
But most people, you'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Most potential dates, not
you should probably tone it down for.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I've done that specifically. I'm just saying, like, I kind of relate to the whole idea of something being taken, like, oh, that's weird, why are you making a joke about that? But no, she responds to his humour. She responds to it. They get along. They seem to benefit. And they talk about various things, and like they reveal their duration, because that's something they sort of reveal together, and they get taken to this little house. I mean, it's more like a hotel room, really, but we find out this is where they always get taken. They always get into one of these after one of their dates.
Yeah.
And they've got 12 hours, and they're like, oh, okay, so... Because this first one, it does feel like a night in a hotel room, because it is just one night. But then when we see the longer term ones, it's like, they still go here, that's just where they live for the year or the 9 months.
I mean, we get little hints of this world, and it kind of sounds like to me they don't have homes of their own, because they don't seem to have jobs for the most part.
Well, yeah. Well, it's funny, because later on we reveal that they're not sure where they were before now. But at least now, when I was thinking that they've been living here the whole time, I assumed they must have some kind of house before. Cause this is their first dates.
Well, no, see, this is at this point I was kind of going before we get to like more details later. I was kind of going, okay, so when they're on a date, they get given a house. Presumably, once they find the perfect match, whatever, they had a specific name for it, like the soulmate, and it was like, okay, so then they'll have kids. The kids will live there until they're old enough, and then once they're ready to go home, that's when they'll leave home and they'll join the system, as they call it.
Oh, sure. I guess it was because they felt older than just old enough to leave home, I guess. They did. They feel like the late 20s or whatever. They did,
but it always, like, between relationships was always really short. So I was like, it didn't feel like they had their own place. Yeah, okay. We'd see them occasionally, like we'd see her swimming, but I felt like, okay, there's some communal spaces that they live in between relationships, maybe.
Okay, yeah. But it's all a bit moot, really, when we find out what's actually going on. But
it is, but it was interesting to theorise as I was going.
And they're kind of awkward, like, oh, should we have sex? They're even asking Coach, are we supposed to have sex, even though it's the first night? And like, oh, we don't judge you, it's up to you what you do in your time, and blah, blah, blah. And they're both kind of awkwardly just not willing to just sort of do it.
Yeah, they both want to, but neither one wants to admit it and make the first move.
Yeah, and they feel kind of awkward. It's like, oh, we only know each other for one night. It's like, and they even crack a joke in the morning when they're leaving each other. It's like, oh, hey, by the way, if we do this again, you're totally going to get it. It's like, okay, you too.
Yeah, I thought it was really weird. They got cars, like automated cars, to take them away this time, but then they didn't on future dates.
I don't think that's something they always get. I feel like it was just, I don't know.
It just seemed weird, like because other times they just walk off, whereas
maybe it's something they arranged. Maybe they just asked for a car in the morning.
No, it could be.
So sometimes they don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't reading into it too much. I think it was just more for the visual of the two golf carts going off.
I know, it was nice. It just bothered me that they didn't do it again.
But so, and here's what I was thinking at this point in the episode in terms of what it was about. And largely I'm kind of right here. I think as much as what we find out the episode's actually about, I do think there's just some relationship messaging going on in here. This whole idea of feeling the need to go through, because the whole thing is like, oh, we have to pair you up with lots of people for different durations, and then we collect all this data from all the time you spend with those people, your reactions, or the way things you like, things you don't like, and eventually we give you your OTP to put it into.
Yes. I cringed a little just to hear it.
Just like fanfic terms, and I'm like, okay, I'm clearly these two liked each other. They had a connection. They bonded. They're clearly wanting to pursue this in some way, but the system's telling them they can't, and they're being forced into these other relationships. And it was almost, I was seeing this as a sort of criticism of, like, you know how like you'll have the person in the group who's always like, no, you should play the field before you settle down. You shouldn't just go off and meet your soulmate right away. Like, enjoy your early years. Like, I almost feel like, because after this, when they go with their other pairings, you see just how cold and soulless they are. As they're like, oh, we have to go through all these sexual encounters.
I think it was really clear immediately, this being arranged by this app, essentially. it was like, okay, so this is kind of a look at like Tinder and so on.
Oh, sure, yeah. Especially as we go further into it.
Yeah, yeah, but I think it's there kind of from the start in your head.
Yeah.
And it's very much, the idea of, okay,
Oh, yeah.
the expectation of that is just, okay, it's just hookups and stuff. But then it's like, but what if it's not?
Yeah, because she walks in, because when he walks in at the start, she's usually like, oh, what does he look like? And it gives him, so you know it's like a dating app or like a blind date in that sense because of that. Like, it sets up that that's kind of what we're playing with. And obviously that's what the whole episode ends up being about. But I think there's a lot of relationship commentary in here about
absolutely.
expectations, about, hey, don't worry if the first person you're in a long-term relationship is actually the one. That's okay. Like, if you found someone, great for you. You're lucky. You haven't. You don't have to like question it too much. Don't worry about it. But then there's some other things, of course. So the first thing that happens after this is they both get paired off again with different people, and they're both long-term. In context of this show, and like they're compared to 12 hours.
Yeah, a year and 9 months.
Yeah, 9 months was hers with this guy, and she's quite happy with him at first because visually he walks in and he's like, oh, please let it be him, because he's like, kind of hunky.
Yeah.
But he's not cracking jokes. He's not doing it. Like, you can kind of tell it's a bit colder right away. But she's still she still enjoys having the sex, and it's okay. It's fine. And she gets a little bit annoyed at him as the time goes on. Like, he makes this little noise after he takes a drink. He's always going like this one. I
was going to do it, but I'll let you. Yeah,
he does that a lot, and she brings it up, and like he's like, "Oh, sure," and he keeps doing it, and to the point where towards the end she's basically just counting down, and he like when they break up, or not break up, but when it's time's up and it's the break up, and he's trying to say, "Oh well, it's been fun," and
she's just like, "Yeah, see it."
Yeah, bye. Meanwhile, Frank gets this girl who, like, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, if you ever needed another reason to be annoyed at the Welsh.
She's just a total bitch from the second he meets her, because she's like, oh, you're late and I'm already eating, and she just hates him.
He goes, yeah, I went and got changed, and she looks and goes, really, you got changed?
She's just awful to him immediately, and then they look at the duration and it says a year, and they're both like panicking, like, a year? Really? And I'm like, what's the effort of putting them through a year of this if it's someone they don't like from the very first second? Like, these are two people who would never even ask each other out.
No, exactly.
But they have sex anyway. They're having the experience, and like, she's like, oh, you got breath on you. What was it ate at the dinner? I can't remember.
No, garlic was
garlic was later. Yeah, it was something else.
Was. Chicken tikka masala.
There it was, yeah. Chicken tikka masala. So she's like, no, you need to do me from behind. It's a really comical sex scene. And you see how much they hate each other. They go to this other wedding, like, two people have found their match, and they're like, oh, the system works. And also, I think you can kind of read it as, there's no system to this. It's okay to do things your own way. Like, there's some simple messages in there, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
And they're all happy. But he sees Amy with her guy at this thing, and he wants to talk to her, but he feels kind of like jealous and like upset that she's with someone else. But of course there's this moment at the buffet table where he's up and he's got his chip or whatever it is, and he's dipping it into this garlic
sauce. Yeah.
And the girlfriend, the bitchy girlfriend at the time, is looking at him, was like, garlic?
Really?
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
That was the line. Thanks for that.
And then he just dips it in even more and shoves it right.
Not only that, when he dips it in again, it's really aggressive. He's sort of basically just
like, here, look at this. I'm doing this.
He's basically humping the cup with the dip in it. He's like, yeah, oh, garlic. And then Amy sneaks up.
No one likes garlic that much.
Amy sneaks up behind him, and they have chemistry. It's like, no, clearly these two like each other. This is what they're supposed to be doing. But at the end, her guy comes up, and it's awkward for a minute. And that's it. And we get our montages of them getting sick of their partners, counting down the thing. And it's funny how when his relationship's up, he does try to be nice at the end. He goes, hey, look, we got through it. And she's like, just don't. And she just walks off in a mood. Yeah. And I'm like, my God, are you always so awful? Like, you never smiled once. Like,
it's just Welsh.
See, when you realise, I do not endorse those statements.
Yes, you do. The Scotsman in you is incredibly like, yeah.
I'm amused by them. I'm not going to endorse a channel-wide insult to the Welsh.
It's far too late for that. We've done it many a time.
There's many a nice Welsh person, might I add. I've seen many.
I'm sure they exist somewhere. I mean, they're kind of like unicorns, right?
The only time you're more happier than insulting Scottish people is when you're insulting the Welsh. It's just, it's
Hey,
kind of...
it's fun. What can I say? It's a national pastime.
So, and they get paired up again. Oh, and she's, I mean, Amy's had a few more. She's had a lot of one-nighters.
She had another 3 months.
Yeah, she had 3 months to have one-nighters and stuff, and my cat's in my way. Yes, you. But she and we see... And we see that she's, what was that?
I said, I bet the cat's Welsh too, isn't he?
That is a not a Welsh cat. How dare you? He's ginger. He's one of yours.
Touche.
But she has all these one night and she looks just depressed through all of these sexual encounters. But she's just bored. She's not even paying attention. We see like a montage of like several men. There's another montage later because there's one with a woman in it, but I think that comes later after another stretch of time.
This one, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's later because it's when she's sadder.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right.
But they're both getting a pairing the next day, and they meet at the restaurant, and they're like, "Hey, we probably shouldn't sit together because we're both here to meet our parents." It's like, "Nah, are we at the right table? Coach, are we at the right table? Yeah, at the right table." It's like, "Oh, it's us again," and she's like, "Hey, can we not look at the duration? Because
just do this the other way."
Yeah, because it sucks. Because I know how long it lasts, so I just don't see the point in it, and I feel detached from it. And of course, she tells a story about how she felt detached while she was having sex with a guy, and she's describing, "Oh yeah, it was just a thing getting into a hole. Like I was just watching myself having sex," and he's just like, "I really don't want to hear any of this, please. This is making me jealous beyond belief. Stop it, stop it."
Yeah.
But so they're together, and I'm like, okay, all right, okay. So we're going from here, and that's fine, and. Of course, they're happy for a little bit. They're delightful. They're making jokes. Like their sex scene, or the start of their sex scene when they're about to start, is completely different from every other one we've seen. They're joking. She's sort of saying, "I'm going to see your penis," or and it's a funny little scene. It's charming, and you get it. It's like it doesn't matter if he's like not half as good looking as the other men she was with. It doesn't matter any of those things. Like no, they have connection. It's simple. But he starts to worry. He starts to worry that this isn't going to last, which I think is a very kind of honest thing, especially in this world where, like, it's timed. Like he knows there's an ending.
Yeah, he knows an ending because it's not his final pairing, so it's just a question of when, not if. It's when.
So he has to look, but they promised not to look together. So then he does it anyway behind her back, and the time starts to go down because he did that. And I like that because. As much as I understand why he wanted to look, because I get his concern, because his concern is purely only in this world, because it's specifically because he knows there's an end date.
Yeah.
Right? But the whole idea that he does this behind her back and lies to her about it, it's like, no, that would reduce the relationship, because now you're lying to her.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's so simple, but it works so well.
In his head, he's going, "Oh, damn it! I wish I knew about there was a way to do this when I was with that Welsh woman."
I know. He's like, "Damn it! I learned how to."
I could have got out of most of that year.
But yeah, so he it keeps shrinking, and it gets down to like 20 hours. It goes from 5 years to 20 hours.
That's rough.
And like she's happy the next day. They're skipping stones and all the rest of it, and he's like really upset, and he eventually confesses, and we'll get so much time. And she's like pissed at him. She's angry that he sort of betrayed their promise and storms off, and that's the last he gets to see her here. And he's heartbroken about it.
Yeah,
it's and I'm like, I'm really into this couple. I really like it because one of my big complaints with the last episode is that I didn't really connect to Mia in any way, either through sympathy, through empathy, or even just interest of like her being weird and dark. Like she wasn't that interesting. Here, I like these two characters. They had chemistry. They had this bond.
They're nice. They're fun.
Yeah, they are. They're very likable. And so yeah, we keep going. We get this montage with her where she's with all these other men and one woman as well. The neat little touch, but she's just standing there still, and it's just all fading around her, and it's just all kind of meaningless. And eventually, she's giving her pair. The thing comes up saying, "Hey, you're getting your perfect pairing tomorrow," and it's like, okay, just like that, and it's going to be him. It's like, yeah. So you get a request. You get to pick one person to sort of say goodbye to before this happens, because it'll help you emotionally. We find that it helps people. And she's like, Frank, I picked Frank, because it's been a little bit of time, and she obviously she was mad at me at the time, but she obviously but now is like, no, like
yeah, it's kind of clear.
Yeah, his reasons were fine. So And she makes the choice, because the joke earlier on about running for it, like, you know, dodging the security guards, climbing the wall, and just making a break, like, screw the system, let's just do it, because he tries to talk her into that earlier.
It was really funny because they keep talking about, oh, beyond the wall, they don't know what's there. It's this, you know, they're told it's this wasteland, and it was really amusing me because I was watching this with my girlfriend. She kept questioning like the rules of the world. So why is this like that? Why is it like that? I'm like, I don't know. It's Black Mirror. It just does this.
You'll find out later. Just leave it.
If it matters, you'll find out. Just go with it.
And of course, at one point, one of them says, "Yeah, do you remember what you were doing before you got here?" And they couldn't. I'm like, "Oh, this is Inception stuff."
Yeah,
here.
yeah. And there's stuff like, you know, they talk about they skip the rocks. It's like it's always 4. Like, it's never more, never less. It's always 4. And it's like, okay, I get where this is going.
Yeah, but at this point, I'm thinking, is this too similar to San Junipero if they're in some sort of virtual world or something? Like...
I know. That's why I was like, all through this episode, I'm going, okay, this is the San Junipero. I get it. But I'm like, but is that too on the nose?
And sure enough, he comes to meet her. They've only got 2 minutes or something silly like that to talk to each other. And she's like, she obviously threw her thing in the water. She skips it. She skips her coach, and it's like she's made the choice to run. And he's like, yeah, let's do this. Let's run. Let's be together. And as they're leaving, like they reference how weird the world is, and they do this thing where the guy's coming up with the taser, and she just stops it with her finger. It doesn't work.
Yeah, because you can see people. Everyone's looking at them. Some of them seem to have frozen at this point already, before the guy with the taser comes up, and you know they're talking about all sorts of things. You know, they keep like that first time they met, they're like, "Oh, it felt like we'd done this before." You know, there's all these little things where it's like, "Okay, this is weird." And
everyone freezes and they just walk out. Music's playing, and they get to this giant ladder that looks like it's going up to infinity, and they just start climbing this ladder. And you know, so again, music's playing. It's all very sort of romantic and kind of rebellious and all the rest of it. And they get to the top, and the world deteriorates digitally. Like, it all just goes black. There's all this like, sort of grid formation, and then it all goes away. And they're standing in this big black room with lots of other versions of themselves. The same 2 people in various pairs. Different clothes, but same 2 people all over the place. And they all kind of fade up the way, and then the camera comes up. It looks down at it. And we heard earlier on that this system has a 99.8% match rate.
Yeah, we've heard that a few times throughout the episode.
And it just sort of says it's run this simulation 1,000 times, success rate 99.8, and then we're in
it was rebellion rate.
Oh, rebellion rate. That's it. Like every time they've worked together to escape for the love, like they've always done that. Like 99.8 times out of 1,000.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we go to a real bar. And she looks a little bit different. She's got like a nose ring in. Her hair's a little bit different. She's a her, but she looks a bit different. He looks a bit different. He's got a t-shirt on, and they both get their match that says 99.8, and they just sort of look at each other. And she starts walking towards them. It's this really nice, sweet little moment, and the whole thing is just like, oh, this is Tinder of the future. It just matches people with all these simulations for a real thing.
And as you know, okay, we're going, oh, this is hopeful. This is nice. They fall for their love, and, in the simulation. The cynic in me goes, yeah, but in the real world, it's still just determined by a system, an app. That's all this is to them. Still, they it's an app's gone. Hey, you're compatible.
Well, yeah, that's the irony of the episode, though, is that in the world they break out and say, no, we're going to damn the system because we're in love. But then it turns out that this is all just part of the system to tell them who they should meet. And I think you can be cynical and say, okay, it's equally saying this can be useful, but at the same time, if you rely to it religiously, then it's just going to put you through the motions that we saw in the episode itself. But at the same time, if these 2 people do end up caring for each other, then that app is really goddamn good.
It is pretty good, isn't it?
That app is perfect.
Oh, God, the amount of data you'd have to feed that app. I hope they've got some real good data protection stuff going on.
I wonder if it just takes your DNA. It's like the first episode, it just takes your DNA and makes copies of you.
Yeah, there's lots of, again, we've been talking about all season how there's, things from previous episodes.
Yeah.
This, White Christmas springs to mind. Yeah. With, the virtual world, the way the time passes, these simulations. Obviously, we mentioned San Junipero a lot. That was a very clear influence.
Yeah. And I do wonder, actually, if the people in the simulation are just literally what's in the first episode. Or they're just these copies that are made from their DNA. Digitally.
They could well be, and then it raises the question. We were in that first episode. We were, these clearly are, to some extent, they're real people. They have real feelings.
Yeah.
And so it raises a moral question about this then also, which is also interesting.
I don't think so. I think because they all get their happy ending, and then they get erased.
Okay.
So they're not left there, and they don't know that's what they are until the very end, and then they get erased. So that.
But do they get erased immediately? Because I mean, when we get there, this is attempt 1,000, right? And 997 other pairs are there. You see them. You see all of them on screen together.
I assumed they all just kind of ran concurrently.
Oh, okay.
Like it was processing multiple at the same time.
Right. Okay.
Kind of
I'm
thing.
with you. The way that they were all there already made this seem like this was the last attempt.
Yeah. I don't think it was literally one by one.
Okay.
But, I mean, yeah, I feel like you're reading into it if you think, oh, okay, the other 900 odd were all standing around waiting for months.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know how long they would have been waiting in reality.
I never got that impression. And it was never implying anything like that to me, where it was this sinister thing where they're all waiting around for...
No, it wasn't.
So, yeah, I'm going to take this as a fairly hopeful episode. I think it's this... No. Ultimately, yeah, I think it's this two-sided thing where, no, this can be very useful, it can help, but at the same time, you don't have to follow it religiously, because if you do, you'll feel like you have to jump through all these hoops, when really you've just already found the person, it's fine.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's interesting, we talk about how, this was, it was a very balanced episode in terms of, no, this is the pros and cons of this technology. We mentioned how the first one had that as well.
Yeah.
Even episode, the last episode was kind of like that as well, with the memory technology. We kind of mentioned how it was always a positive thing in the episode. Yeah, we can see the concerns, but they weren't in the episode. Yeah, the
tech itself was. I mean, someone pointed out in the comments that if the tech didn't exist, she would never have felt the need to actually kill the baby.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Because
it's true. It's a bit thin compared to a lot of what.
It's technically true, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. But no, that's a very smart episode, and I do like that it ends on her just walking towards him. It's like, no, we don't have to see if it works or not. It's just the idea of the hope, that it's giving them a bit of hope that, maybe they can find the person they want to run away with. Like, it's...
Yeah, I did like this episode a lot.
Because I think as well, it's just the idea of the uncertainty, where in real life, it's not a sure thing, yes or no. Even with a 99.8% match, it's not a sure thing. So I like that it leaves it ambiguous. No, we've got a chance, let's try it.
I didn't want to see any more.
Yeah, just, cut to black.
Yeah.
So, no, it was a real strong episode. Definitely this and the first one are my two favourites of the season.
I agree with that. But the real question is, this or San Junipero?
Oh, San Junipero.
Oh, thank God you said that.
I mean, I like this a lot. I think this is a much better successor to that than the last one was to Shut Up and Dance, but San Junipero is still my favourite episode of the show. I mean, we'll see what these last two episodes bring, maybe.
Yeah, we could be in for a surprise.
They might bring the thunder, and I'll be okay with that.
Yeah, I'm expecting something heavier after this.
Oh yeah, I mean the next one's a black and white thing with a robot dog or something like that. So
I'm down already.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But no, given the title "Hang the DJ," I was expecting something really depressing until I got the tone as it was going through.
Yeah, and then you hear the song at the end.
Yeah, I was like, oh okay, all right, that's why.
Yeah.
Because you hear the word "hang" in the title, you're like, okay, who's hanging? Like someone's killing themselves in this one. I'm not looking forward to it. But no, yeah, that was a solid episode. I think that was.
I really enjoyed it.
I think we're back. I think we're too good and too kind of. I think Archangel is better than Crocodile was, so it's maybe a bit more layered than just too good, too bad, or too middle. But...
Yeah, I'd say they're in tiers. They're kind of one's better than the other, maybe sure, but they're in the same sort of level of just this is just a standard average Black Mirror.
As to what I prefer between this and the first one, I'm not going to tell you because we're going to do a ranked video at the end.
Yeah, we're saving that for we want those clicks basically. We're holding you to ransom.
That wasn't my thinking. There's no such point in doing it if I've already told you as we go what our favourite order is.
Exactly.
But here you go. So that is Hang the DJ. I was going to say Shut Up and Dance there.
I was going to say, where are you going with this?
So, hey, let us know what you thought in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz. Some people before have added more theories and analysis in the comments. Some of them are quite interesting to read, so by all means keep doing that. Some of that stuff's quite good. If you want to support the show and support the channel, head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv. You can do that in the there's a link to that in the description.
God, you're bad at this tonight.
Well, we did the end of year comics thing. Then I did a movie with Tim for streams. Like this is at the end of a long line of recordings.
It is, yeah. And we're 2 days into the new year, and you're exhausted already.
Patreon link in the description, along with some other stuff. Twitter at mailed_fuzz. That's us. I'm done.
You made it.
Thank you for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Love you loads. Keep watching TV. Have you got any vanilla?